Fuck, I got bumped. Let's do it. All right. All right. We're live. Welcome back, everybody. It's Friday. It's Friday. Welcome back to episode 77, Hero Labs Live. Your host, RT. Good to see you guys here in the studio. It's been a bit of a wild day. Bit of a wild day indeed in my particular corner of the world. We have got a brand new series of lockdowns. So because I don't go outside anyways, I didn't even notice until I went outside today. And yeah, it's just a little bit crazy. So, you can still go outside. You just have to be working, exercising, all that stuff. So, anyways, Mount Gox, some new developments in the Mount Gox trial. I think we'll have to unpack that one a little bit. I don't think it's like a Panic at the Disco, but it's certainly something, it's new information, and new information needs to be put into your analysis at any time, right? You can have your thesis, which for me is that we will see a violent continuation on Bitcoin over the next few weeks at some point or earlier. Before, and I don't think we'll hit the lows of the recent Monday dump. That's just my thesis. That's where I'm operating from based on the analysis I put out on my Twitter at randomtask555. If you're wondering, it's pinned to the top of my thread. That's a little thread about the 2017 bull market, what it looked like, what that dump on Monday looked like in comparison, and where I think we're headed. Now, I get new information. I got to reanalyze with that new information. So the thing with Gox is that it was a massive exchange. It was like the Bitcoin exchange, right? There really wasn't too many, if any. I don't know. I wasn't around back then. But a large amount of Bitcoin was hacked, stolen, taken, embezzled. We'll find out. Who knows? And the people that are owed that Bitcoin, because I guess they have it. I don't know what's going on with all that. I wish I was like the expert on it right now, because it's the hot topic today. But basically, there's just this huge amount of Bitcoin that is going to be distributed to the people who make the claims. And you have to ask yourself, what would you do if you had Bitcoin from 2013, 2014, worth a few $100, a few $1,000? And then later, years later, 6-7 years later, you were given that Bitcoin back, or some huge portion of it, whether that's 80% of it, whatever they're going to get. Would you sell it? Would you cash it in? I mean, I know a lot of people. I actually know one person who does have a claim in, and he's like, yeah, of course I'm going to sell it, because it's worth like 40, 60, 100K right now. And that's a lot of money to people who were just messing around with a little Bitcoin back in the day. And so there's a sell pressure angle to this story. But the good news is there's a lot of demand in this market. And I can tell you right now that there are big players in this place that are licking their chops, begging for that sell pressure to hit the market, looking for that OTC, OTC desks. Rob Levy, president of Hxro, just tweeted out, says, I have a feeling there are going to be some healthy bids on the Mt. Gox corn that hits the OTC desk. Lots of big buyers who prefer getting things done in size. So if you have $1 billion worth of Bitcoin that's sitting there on the sell side, there is a ton of demand available. So we're going to soak that up in the market. And so the only question today, perhaps we'll pull up a chart for this. Let's see here. So the question today, and I have to ask myself this as a trader, because this will not affect the long-term, midterm prospects of Bitcoin. I mean, midterm, whatever. But is Bitcoin dead? Even if it dumps to 24,000 or 20K or 12K, like, it doesn't matter. It's not going to do those things, but presumably. But my point is, at any price, if nothing fundamentally changes about the blockchain, then it's whatever. It's price action. So I have to ask myself as a trader today. You can see I was already kind of expecting the dip with this kind of I thought, okay, it's unlikely we just fly up here. Markets tend to go where you think they will. If they go where you think they will, they often get there in a different path. So a continuation is what I'm expecting, but I would actually expect some consolidation here. This is probably a bit more accurate of what I'm looking at. So, put this out on Twitter last night saying, up here in the short reload zone, doesn't seem like we're just going to continue like crazy. Volume is, falling off. Now we had actually really good buyback on this hourly, which I think is natural. And I think the news of Mount Gox, the potential isn't really fully absorbed by the market yet. So new information will adjust the price. And it is a sell pressure story. So, don't be shocked if we get down into this. Obviously, you can see I was already expecting we'd get into the 33s. With this kind of news, it could, it could be the catalyst to drive us down to one more low, two more lows, whatever. I mean, who knows what kind of stories will follow this? I don't even know we have the full story. So my question, again, as a trader today, how am I going to readjust my position in the market? Do I have to readjust my position in the market? More importantly, if my thesis is now that, okay, well, until this news comes out, maybe I'll just cool my jets. I'll up the cash position in my account to lower the volatility. I will let this news story shake out, whether that's, some of this kind of like, oh, Mount Gox, and like even that's just the 20K retest that I've been talking about, seems, totally plausible. At this point, I just think it's continuation and go. But this new information is literally just came onto my desk in the last hour. So I don't even know that I have a new thesis yet. Generally speaking, based on my thread, I came to the kind of conclusion that this is just standard stuff, big shakeout, and we would end up with something probably like this, at least hopefully, because this is like an alt season right here. And then alts continue to pop off versus Bitcoin, and then they get like a nice big leg one, and then Bitcoin breaks out and they pull back, and that's the end of leg one. That was my thinking. So I do want to unpack this this Gox stuff a little more. Maybe we could even pull up some articles on stream today. First, let's check out the chat. We've got Dave Millett and we've got Edge Alleged. Says, hey gang, let's do this. We got August. Good to see you guys. MK says, hey guys, can you look at share today? Absolutely. Love looking at share. Probably already have a chart on it somewhere. And Bob Dylan, Brad Anglin. Oh, Bradley. My homie, P. Linus. Good to see you too. And BMX. Hello. I want to talk a little bit about OPSEC today. We had a funny, kind of stressful, and kind of bad story this morning, but it had a slightly happy ending. So I don't mind talking about it a bit. There was a new token launch today. Let's just get into it. New token launch today, YOP token, Yield Optimization Platform. Very promising. Pretty pumped about this thing in general. I think, what is it at? A couple mil market cap now. At 5 cents, it was like 600K market cap or something. And that was the sale price. Seed sale, pre-sale, and Polka Starter sale, which just happened, I think today or yesterday. And so it's launched now, and it's, it's doing its usual thing. Just early sellers taking their profit. They're already up pretty much like 10x. So it's not a bad place to be like taking out initial for some of those guys, and that's what they're doing, and that's where you get this. I expect this thing to do pretty well. No guarantees, not financial advice, but I actually do. I have a bag, seed investor with my fund, so you got to be aware of that. However, yeah, like I'm bullish on it. Anyways, so my little cousin, shout out to you, Maddie, if you're watching. My little cousin comes on, and I wanted to help him out. I said, look, I got a decent ticket size on this YOP sale. It's looking hot. Throw a couple $100 in. I'll cut you in, throw you some YOP. And I get him on, I get him set up, he's got a little bit of crypto, more passively holding it. And then basically, as I explained to him, okay, so you're going to have to trade it on Uniswap if you get it. So you better set up a trust wallet. You better set up a MetaMask. And then as I went through that process, I realized how convoluted this trading is. For all of you who are on here who know how to use Uniswap, like, way to go. You are a certain level of pro already. So as I'm explaining this to him, note to self, always do this with like a live video screen share, because I was just explaining it to him. So he gets it all set up, puts a couple $100 in, sends it to me. Today I'm like, oh man, YOP's up. You can get your money back. And, they'll have some YOP tokens. We'll just sit on them. He's like, dope, cool. So I sell some for him, thinking that's easier. And then I send the US Tether to his wallet. I send the YOP tokens to his wallet. And I said, okay, have a good day. We'll catch up later. You're set. And then just as I'm about to click off the screen, I refresh his wallet and the US tether has been moved out of his wallet. And I check where it was moved to, and it was moved to some random fucking wallet with like $9,000 in it. I was like, yeah, I know this dude don't have $9,000. Whose wallet is this? So I call him back, doesn't pick up. I'm getting stressed. I'm like, okay. Call him back. He picks up. I said, did you just move your tether out of the wallet? He's like, no. I'm like, oh my God. Where did you put your private keys? So turns out, and I can't even find this site. I did look for it. Turns out he just Googled Uniswap, which is annoying. I mean, I know he's watching, so I'm gonna take it easy on him. I didn't teach him certain key golden rules. Those are what I want to talk about today, guys. Things like never entering your private key into a site, a seed phrase into a site. You will never have to do that anywhere. So if you did do that, if you were being asked to do that, you're just, check your URL. So he Googled Uniswap, and this is the real one. So that's what comes up for me. But for him, and he showed me this, there was some sketchy, weird something.com that looked like Uniswap but wasn't. And, being an average dude, he's actually quite smart. He's in the software engineering program right now at a top university. So, I mean, dude is smart, but you wouldn't think to check that, I guess. And I was apparently a terrible teacher, so I didn't tell him to. So he went to this Uniswap site, not this one, this is the real one, but he went to a fake one. It looks obviously the same, clicks on his MetaMask, connect wallet, and then a thing pops up. It's like, enter seed phrase and password, kind of like what would be a normal sign-in on any other place in the world. Like it seemed pretty intuitive. Turns out he put his seed in there, and poor guy. So now there is a silver lining here, guys. Silver lining is yops pumping. No, but he for whatever reason, this hacker did not move the YOP tokens out of the wallet, which would have been heartbreaking because it was his first big win. So they did take the USDT. They took all the ETH, which was like, $40, $50, whatever. And then the YOP's in there with no gas to get out. And I saw it in there and I was like, yo, okay, cuz here's what we're going to do. Get your shit, get your trust wallet, get your finger on the trigger, set up my address, and I'm going to move, a little bit of ETH into that address. And then as soon as it's there, you're just going to fire the send and you're going to get those tokens out. And we did it. So we did rescue 90% of his investment. But it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. I'm sitting here trying to work, trying to prep for the stream, trying to do all this shit. And I looked at his wallet. It's like, did you just move your shit out of the wallet? Like, it's terrifying. So he's, I was like, welcome to crypto, bitch. You're always under attack. You got to, guys, keep your eyes open. And if you're new to this stuff, I want you to take this photo and study it. Treat yourself to the peace of mind that comes with knowing you've done everything you can to secure your crypto. Okay. And sometimes that means, and this is the sad thing, you rush into things. I'm not even saying he rushed into things, but like you can rush into things, you get excited, there's price action, there's volatility. So, keep an eye on this because this is a really nice guide. There's a lot going on here. So you're going to have to take some time, pick through it. If you haven't done every single thing on this list, you are not secure. There's probably even more to it. But for starters, start here. This is probably the best infographic I've ever seen. You can screen grab it. Maybe we can even get you a link to it. I have it just as a saved file on my computer. So, but yeah, keep an eye on this stuff, guys, because it is so easy and it happens so quick, and it's just terrifying. So, yeah. I just wanted to start off with that, guys. If you're new to crypto, if you're thinking about, making a larger play in crypto, or if you already have a decent sized bag and you haven't done all this stuff, don't just chill on this stuff, guys. I actually got SIM swapped last year. That's a whole other story, perhaps for another day. But I was sitting on my couch pretty hungover one Sunday morning, obviously, right? And my phone just lost its signal randomly. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, whatever. That's weird. Kind of go back to being hungover for a minute. And then I get an email and it's like, I still have no signal, and my email is like, your password has been successfully changed. And I was like, wait, what? Get another email, another password changed. So I freaked out, ran upstairs, locked my Binance account, changed a few more things around, got very lucky. But I guess my one takeaway from that, aside from securing your cell phone carrier's website very heavily, you guys know those secret questions you put on to things where it's like, you forgot your password. Okay, enter the secret question. Make sure those secret questions are total bullshit. Like, for example, what's the first make and model of your first car? Just put like, I don't know, rock bass, like some total random shit that's not even a car. It's essentially another password. If you have a factual answer to any of those questions, you can be socially engineered online. and I was, and that was my mistake. So I didn't lose anything from it except for a whole bunch of sleep and hours of opsec. But it was a good lesson. So get into this stuff, guys. We are going to get into the charts now. There's a lot of volatility. Yeah, in August, exactly. Silver lining. So yeah, I was looking on Etherscan, Chris Richards. I just happened to I pulled it up because I was like, okay, confirming. Because again, he's newish. I'm like, okay, let me just see your wallet, all this stuff. I'm kind of walking him through. And I just saw the money move out. I was like, wait a sec, I know he didn't do that. And I know the moved wallet wasn't his. I was like, oh, fuck. And obviously we had to backtrack a bit, but it turns out it was this site that he put the seed. I was like, did you by any chance put your seed into anything? He's like, yeah. I was like, oh, dear Jesus. Okay, guys. Look, the Dixie is pushing up here. Not really what you want to see if you're a bull on anything. Things that, everything, if you're trading against USD, like equities, stocks, crypto, when this thing goes up, tends to have the inverse effect on all those assets. So we could expect to see a little rollover on certain things today. We already did get that on Bitcoin. Small rollover. I'd like seeing this buy support here. I think there's times where, a Gox news where it's like 1 billion Bitcoin going to hit the sell side. This could really go. But the fact that it's catching a bounce here, even ahead of where I kind of expected it initially, nice buy volume coming in here, which, closing bullish. So things to think about. The monthly on the Dixie looks like shit, but that doesn't mean it couldn't, do something like that, right? Little retest. So that's something to keep an eye on. In fact, Nick mentioned something to me today. Let's see. He put his thoughts on the Dixie out on Twitter. He said he did anyways. Nope. That's too bad. So missing Nick here at the desk, but he is on a vacation right now, taking some time away, and did have a quick chat with him earlier today, though, and he said he put his thoughts on Dixie. I'm not sure where, but okay. So let's get into some charts, guys. Let's get into some charts. Your mother's maiden name is a security question used for decades already. Not secure at all. Most of these questions are the same on every website. Exactly. So August 88 pointed out that a lot of those security questions that they prompt you with are very misleading because they're so friggin' obvious that they're not protecting shit. And just let me be clear, guys. You can have a strong password all you want. That's a starting point. But nobody gets into your account by cracking your password. I mean, at least not presumably. If you have 2FA, cool. But what they do is they click on forgot password. And then they socially engineer their way around. Because if you think about it, the internet is only secure. The internet only knows it's you because you know things about yourself. So if you know the balance in your bank account, when you call the bank, they're going to say, oh, we want to verify some things. What's your address? What's the balance in your bank account? What's your, what's this? What's that? And if they have all that information, anyone can pretend to be you. And so those secret, anytime you want to know if your shit's secure, click on forgot password and see what steps you have to take to get that fucking thing open. And if there is some easy way in there, or my mistake is being like, where are you from? And I just always use the same one. Where are you from? And I typed in my city because I didn't care. It was pre-crypto when I set it up. I didn't really think about it. I was like, yeah, come hack me. I have nothing. So, once you are into crypto, you are your own bank. You have to treat it as such. You're always under attack, sadly, but you have to assume that. And these kinds of players will tend to go after the low-hanging fruit. They'll sift through these sites and they'll click forgot password on a bunch of things and see if they can guess easy answers. And if they can, that's the one they'll go for. YubiKey is great. So I don't know if that was on here, but a YubiKey is really nice, this kind of thing. And it basically means like on Binance, you can only make a withdrawal if that's plugged into your computer and you touch it. So no matter what, nobody anywhere in the world, presumably, at least that I know of, there's always somebody smart out there that's going to find a way to crack something, but that's another layer. Using 2FA on your phone is logical. Using 2FA on an old phone that has no internet access is optimal. So that's another big one. If you have like an old iPod or something, you just run your 2FA on that. It's a secondary device. So if somebody SIM swaps you and uploads all the data from your phone, they can't even find your 2FA. That's another big one. Another one that's good is finding something like Proton Mail. Encrypted email you can set up with a certain amount of money. I think they even accept Bitcoin. And, through one mother address, you can have like 10 emails that all, any of those 10 get sent to, they all arrive in your basic one Proton Mail. So for each exchange and stuff, you can have different email covers. And then for the main email used to sign in, you can have it nowhere else on the internet. So like nobody even knows that email exists basically. So it's, again, this stuff takes hours, guys. It takes hours. You have to be meticulous. In case of death, you want to write things down in a certain place, but then that has to be secured. So you put it into a few locations, perhaps 2. I've heard of people using safety deposit boxes at banks. I've also heard of safety deposit boxes being raided by people at banks, who work there and just pull. It's crazy. I have a friend who puts half a private key in one bank deposit box and half a private key in the other. So no particular one bank can even get after his shit. I mean, it's a game, guys. It's a game, and it's a bit scary to think about. And this is why custody solutions will be a big thing, and they need to be. Moms and pops, my little cousin, average people, they don't want to think about all this shit. They just want to put it into a bank. So as much as we want to say, that's scary and that's bad and pro crypto, yeah. Fact is, there is something nice about having a professional take care of this for you. And that is going to be, and still will be, a sexy alternative. And that needs insurance, and that needs custody solutions, and it's like prime trust and all that stuff. So, whoo, crazy day. Okay, let's get into some charts, man. Let's make some money. DOT looking super bullish. We have been bulls on this pullback. I was a FOMO staring at this thing all through here. I didn't buy it, didn't race in, but I thought, if we get this reload zone, if we get this pump chaser fib, I'm looking at it. So fortunate enough to pick some up in here. Didn't do anything superstar like set bids at this 786, which would have been the perfect entry. But I did get long through this sort of low 20,000 sats area. Not really rushing to sell. I will have a sell order sitting up here in this fib extension as the next target. I think on the whole, though, this has probably more room to go. But I'm stair stepping. I'm enjoying taking profits at fib extensions as a rule this year. I've been doing that last year. It's been working out great. I'm enjoying buying a lot of those positions back at retests. So it's a little over tradey, but I have the time and I sit here a lot, so why not? So DOT is looking strong. We expect it to be one of the bangers this year overall. A couple others I'm looking at. RSR versus Bitcoin, kind of quiet, not doing too much. But look at this uptick in buy volume right off the lows. Bears falling asleep here. Nobody really interested in trading more RSR for Bitcoin. Suddenly, tons of people interested in trading their Bitcoin for RSR. We got that first move, and now got this cute little flag working. This consolidation after a breakout on volume tends to be a bull flag type thing, continuation pattern. So I'll be keeping an eye on this one. This looks really good, and as the bull flag often does, resemble the flag formation, but it often is also settled into a pump chaser fib, which it is. So I did take a position on RSR earlier this week as well. I think this one's great. And, and I have to consider that on USDT, it's actually kind of up there. And frankly, it looks a bit like shit. It's got this kind of, I'm tired, I'm rolling over, there's no more buyers. So, but it is also just consolidating. It is in this fib extension. And so again, I talk about this all the time. You guys got to define what your trading plan is. I typically trade versus USD. So this wouldn't be a place necessarily where I'm rushing to buy, except for that it's a 382 and blah, blah, blah. But this particular trade I'm doing versus Bitcoin because I had some Bitcoin and I'm starting to trade it away for shit that I think is going to outperform it in the near term. So this is a BTC trade for me. Let's see. Serum. Let's check in on Serum. I haven't even looked at it today. It's been a little crazy. Yeah, looking good. I mean, this thing is why, it's picture perfect. Dan and I talked about it on Wednesday. Getting up into that first take profit, paying myself, looking to get back in with that portion, right? I didn't sell all of it, but I sold some. Reloading in the reload zone, that's what it's for. And then we're pushing back up here. So this is no longer a take profit for me because we've already filled it. It's already been tagged. So if we get continuation from here, the fib extension from this move takes us up to here, which is nice. That's the short reload zone. There's all kinds of confluence. Arguably a little bit of, kind of a resistance level here, which is not how I draw resistance. I don't know why I would use that tool, but there's probably some resistance right in there. And look at that, kind of confluent. So yeah, TP2 up around 260 for me. And then, the nice thing is I'll still have a position left. So if we just blast through and something crazy happens, cool. But if we do anything like this, now I'm not even sweating it. I paid myself. I can actually take that and reload it again. So that's going to be how I trade a lot of this stuff because I'm actually noticing how well it works. And I'm like, well, if I see this and I know that there's expected to be a pivot there, like high probability, then why am I not, take a little off, put it back in here? Like there's a little short in there. For most people, that's considered over trading. I'm playing with it. It's working out, whatever. Link MetaMask to Ledger. Yeah. So I use a Ledger, Dave Millett. I do. I fuck with like a hardware wallet, but most people, actually another buddy of mine who's a savvy crypto enthusiast, he really likes his Trust wallet linked to MetaMask because it sits on his phone. He can trade from his phone. He's mostly a mobile trader. He's not like a 5 big screen sit at home at the desk trader. Yeah, Linus, talking about resistance, I typically lean on the candles more for support and resistance, but you may notice that I use a box instead of a line, because support and resistance is not this like golden rule where it has to tag it perfectly, and if it goes through, it's broken, right? It tends to be a range, a band. And exactly how thick should I do, how thin, it is, there's no perfect rule there for me. I just will write it up. I saw the meme on Twitter where it's like, nice fat bands when you don't want it to break the resistance, and then like, or support, put it in a nice fat one, and then for resistance, make it thin. It's easier to break, but it's all bullshit. Just lols. In this case, this candle body high over here, and then this wick high here, to me, they create like a nice little pocket that you could expect. And so, a little bit like Nick does as well. He just has like his purple bars across, and they're fairly thick. They cover quite a little range. And that annoys certain people because they're like, no, resistance has to be drawn this way. And they'll say, they'll put their thing on. They say, okay, resistance has to go directly off of that wick. And you have to always use wicks, or you have to always use candles, or you don't get good data. Yeah, that's cool. If they want to do that, that's fine. I much prefer a box. It gives me a nice little range. Doesn't get me hooked on any one level, right? Because when I use a line and then it's like 259 and then we go to 260 and you're like, is it broken? I don't know if it's broken yet. It's like it went through, because resistance is not really a direct exact level. It's more of a range. So anyways, but I'll continue to explain as I draw them today, so we can get maybe a clearer picture of some of that criteria. And over time, you just get enough examples of it, it starts to feel natural. So right here, there's some wicks, there's a candle body, some wicks. So I just drew it through what makes sense to me. And even here, you can see we got through, but there really was resistance there and blasted through. And if we come back down, I expect some support in this general area. This is actually a support now. It's my favorite thing in crypto. Favorite thing in TA is when you get to turn resistances into supports. So Solana, same kind of thing as Serum. It's looking a little heavy up here on the USDT pair, which wouldn't be a big deal. I mean, we've come so far in such a short little bit of time. So if we do roll over here, this last blast up here, you see this big tall green candle, but look at the volume. It wasn't very much. Got to keep that in mind. I mean, certainly not relative to these two bars, which frankly are probably a bit misleading because they were just massive on that day of the unlock. So maybe this is the more average volume, but for now, I wouldn't be shocked if this thing took a little breather right back down into these levels. It's certainly where I would be looking to add rather than trying to rush in to chase this. But if you have none, like if I had none of this and I was like so bullish on Solana, I'm so mad I missed it, I really want some, then I have to resort to like a partial where I'm like, okay, I know it's not the best location. I mean, it did this little range up here, take the sweet spot this morning. Even if it's not the best location, but you're just like, oh, I just must have some. Well, yeah, you can take a partial. Okay, I have $1,000 to invest in Solana. I'll put 100 in here because I don't even care, whatever. Now I'm in. If it takes off, at least I did that. But if it comes back down, I can fire some bullets at the better buy zones, that kind of thinking. Let's go over to, we already did DOT. I'm just going to cover like sort of the ones I know because I've been following them. This is a good time to talk about liquidity cycles, right? Bitcoin gets a huge move and you're expecting an alt season. Well, you got to wait for this guy. You got to wait for Ethereum. Now, Ethereum did blast off. It's the big one. That's the signal, right? Probably won't get the best ROI on ETH versus some of the other coins. I think ETH will do very well, but it's not going to, you're not going to see necessarily like your 100Xs and all that bullshit. But it's the signal. It's the biggest one. There's the most liquidity after Bitcoin. and it moved. So what do you expect to see next? Well, you expect to see some of the other large caps moving. Things like Litecoin, Monero, BNB, Dash, whatever, right? And then I think it's kind of coming into this mid-cap cycle now, where it cycles down. And so I've got a lot of mid-caps right now, things that are in sort of the multi-$100 million range, like the $500 million even. Solana's up in the 600s now. Serum, probably up there a bit. Atom, I think Atom's a great bet this year with the hype that you're going to see with DOT. And then it's going to be, well, what's like DOT? It's always the case, right? Those echo pumps, correlation studies. So obviously you can see we've been tracking Atom here for a little while. And I don't want to talk about it today like, oh, now it's a good time to buy. It's just not. You might look back in a year and be like, well, it's all the way up here, so that was a good time to buy. But as a trader, as a rule, if you weren't buying down here, why are you, what are you doing up here suddenly? Right? You got to ask yourself that. Are you buying because price went up? Or are you buying because you think you see asymmetric value in the market and you can get a good return based on the amount of risk you have to take? I know the feeling. It sucks. People often talk about things more when they're already up. And so this one is, but we're doing some analysis today. I think there's some levels in here. There's always going to be a pullback on any asset to some level. And on that day, you got to ask yourself, do you want to buy it? Like, I don't think anyone wanted to buy it here in the reload zone. Monday, sky was falling. And so in cases like that, as we got up into here over the weekend, I thought, man, if I'm going to add to my Atom, like I want to have those bids working because they're usually quick, they're usually dirty, and they usually happen in moments when you're not really feeling like rushing to spend your money on something because it's going down. So have their bids working, have the plan ahead of time. So far, so good on Atom. Here's one we should talk a little bit about. I think I heard Crypto Cred talking about saying he's going to make a video on this, so maybe a little more extensive there. I like his stuff. So if you're not following him, I don't know exactly what his Twitter is, but man has some good ideas. Crypto Cred, at Crypto Cred on Twitter. I think he was going to do a video on HBAR today. Saw that yesterday. So I'd like to see that, see what his thoughts are. This one, Hedera Hashgraph, sort of a mesh DAG type protocol. So less linear than a blockchain, but basically achieving a lot of the same outcomes around security and all that stuff. So not surprising. I mean, this was a Google announcement. This was actually Google announcing that they were going to work with Hedera. So it wasn't even like Hedera talking about Google. It was the opposite. And I was very fortunate to get in along off here because you guys know, you watch me long enough, I'd like to buy shitty little things as they start to put W's in at lows. I was very fortunate. It was my first trade of the year last year in January, and it stood to be my best for a few months. Took some profits. Basically, I think I got chopped out once somewhere through here, trying to long it again. And now it's like, okay, breakout, bought some, sold some, bought some back, holding. I actually picked up a little more last night, even up here, because I'm like, fuck it. I think Hashgraph's looking really good. So here's the thing. I told John before the episode, I'm going to go on a rant today about how shit the trade experience is on Uniswap. Let's be honest, guys. It's just shit. I mean, I love making money, and if it moons, and it's like, oh, that's so cool. But transactions fail. Things just get bumped back. I spent $40 this morning on failed transactions. Most people, that's pricing you out. Got a couple $100, a couple $1,000. You just want to make a few trades. Can't play in that park. And anytime there's volatility, where you want to be trading, right? Buying a big dirty dump or selling a nice crazy pump. I mean, you get $200 fee, $100 fee just for the privilege of it. And if you don't crank up the fee during volatility, you get failed transaction. You pay for it even twice. So, all that to say that these quote unquote ETH killers, I don't think ETH was going anywhere ever in the 5-year range, 10-year range, whatever. I'm sure it's fine. But the ETH competitors, the ETH alternatives are going to do really well this year. And things like Polkadot, whereas interoperability, Atom, bridging these together. And it's like Dan talked about on Wednesday with the Hxro network that he's planning. They could have their transactional stuff going on Solana where it's like high throughput, cheap fees, quarters, like fractions of pennies per fee at lightning speed. And that's where all the fun happens. And then they send logic or data back to Ethereum to essentially lock that in on the higher scale, like the financial, the banking layer, so to speak. So you get the security of Ethereum, but all the fun, all the stuff, all the gas, all the intense transactional stuff happening on faster blockchains. And so I want to make a basket, and I've already started, of these alternatives, right? What are these other smart contract platforms that will eventually be able to interoperate with ETH? And let's, I'm thinking basket time. Build a basket of everything that fits that thing, because ETH sucks right now. It is overloaded and it's expensive. And that narrative is only going to get worse, right? We're talking about how early we are, how few people use this. Is there any viral dApps on Ethereum even running right now? CryptoKitties 2017 crashed the Ethereum blockchain. It was kind of crazy. I mean, didn't crash it, but like it totally clogged it up for days at a time. And it was one app. It has scaled significantly since then, and we've now refilled it again. Even if ETH 2.0 comes out, and again, I don't know all the details to that. So is it still going to be a linear blockchain? Is the whole blockchain going to be stored on one node? I don't know. But I'll tell you this, even if it has 1,000x the throughput that it has right now, it will eventually fill up. I mean, there's over 1,000 dApps running on it. And if even one of them goes viral right now, it crashes the fucking blockchain, Uniswap. So it can't scale to the scale that it needs. We can't have an entire world's computer running on one linear blockchain. Quote me. And on that note, I'm bullish on Hedera Hashgraph. I am bullish on everything that, the key is network value though. You don't want to just go and buy like the 100 different coins that say like we're a blockchain network and we do smart contracts and we're a platform. I mean, that's great. There's probably a bunch and maybe they're all going to echo pump after a little while. But looking for the big ones, the ones that like, again, going back to Solana, they have backing, they have big backing, they have 100 projects building. Atom, tons of building happening on there. Hashgraph, tons of partnerships, lots of penetration, lots of money. They raised a lot. They're going to be okay. What other ones, guys? Hit me up in the chat if you think of any others. Somebody said KNC is moving up. This is another one I picked up. Basically traded away all my Bitcoin like earlier in the week because I just thought, fuck it. If this thing, 30% dump, and you guys know, right, when we get, and I talk about this all the time, when you get a big, strong trend and then a huge smackdown, you tend to shock the market into consolidation. And you add that to the breakdown on Bitcoin dominance, which we're kind of seeing slowly but surely, and they tend to start slow. Like even right here, right? Bearish retest, breakdown, slow. Fuck you, alt season. Slow. Fuck you, bear season, right? So this is sort of that consolidation before what I expect is a fairly explosive move. Down in dominance means up in these pairs, and we're seeing it now, right? And if you zoom out to the daily, this is why I got long, right? Because look at this. No interest, price falling, no interest. Buyers are not going to step into a dying market at a big, stupid high level that they don't see value in. But when they spot value, when you come into the lows, which is usually right back where the last rally started, they say, okay, we're going to put a bottom in this thing. And you can watch them do it. It's right here on the volume. Big buy volume stepping in. That's millions and millions of dollars loading the bags, or reloading the bags, I should say, that they sold to the poor FOMO buyers up here who are telling themselves stories of 100x. Oh, I know it's already up, whatever it is, 2, 3, 4, 5x, but I think we can go 100. And they sold their tokens to you, or them. I won't presume anybody in here did that, but I know we all do. I've done it before. And then they just pull the rug. They don't buy. They don't support price at all. They let the whole fucking thing wash out. People will sell, so they let them. And they let them, and they let them. And then they pick a spot, and you can watch it all happen on the volume. And that's why volume precedes price. Because once those guys decide the floor is in, the fucking floor is in. That's just the way it goes. They will buy up as many of your tokens here as you will sell. And that doesn't mean it can't go lower. Let's not mistake that with a guarantee. If the market changes, if things change, we can have these long, Bitcoin goes to 60K. They might decide, oh, actually, I want my Bitcoin back. then they dump the price a little lower, and then they play the same game lower down, and they put the floor back in. And even if they still have some from here and they have some from here, their average is in the middle, and they know how to pump it back up. They'll be fine. Long-term, deep-pocketed individuals. The whales, known often as they. So, yes, KNC looks good. Today looks like it's starting to break out a bit. Let's keep an eye on that one. I think there's a really cute level up here. I was just fucking around with Dan with that squiggly, but a big cute level up here. It will stop here when it gets there for at least a little bit. That's where you're going to see resistance, whether that's trapped bulls that are ready to get out of their positions or just eager bulls down here looking to pay themselves. So I'll be setting my initial sells up around the 5,000 Satoshi mark. I don't expect that to be the top of the market, but and I talk about this a lot, guys, but this kind of thing, reload zone, right? And like, why not me? Why not trade that? Like, why not trade that? I'm not going to sell my whole position because I really hope it just fucking moons, but I am going to be peeling off some profits. The nice thing too is when you do that, it could take weeks to come back down into the reload zone. That's weeks of opportunity cost. So that partial sell that I make can now be placed into some other coin that suddenly has big buy volume coming in at the lows. What else do we want to look at? Zcash. Zcash, baby. Zcash versus Tether. Tell me if you guys want a certain pair. I typically start versus USD. If you want to see the Bitcoin chart, let me know though. The Bitcoin charts are what make this so juicy. Zcash is looking great. It's a big breakout. Now you already kind of, and this is when you know that you're in a bull. You don't get too many opportunities for the good entries, right? It's like people say, like, if something is the top, you probably won't get much of a chance to short it. And so if you're getting like 10 opportunities to long something, it may not be the long you want. The best entries tend to be quick, dirty, and that was it right here. I mean, sure, buying in down here, a little bit of opportunity cost. This is a weekly. Took you a while. But if you wait for that breakout, start working bids at that retest, the reload zone just below has been working great for a lot of coins. And now it's like touch and go. So, yeah, I mean, big volume coming in to stamp that too. This looks great. I don't have any Zcash, probably won't, but it looks good. And let's look at it versus, okay, we got about 25 minutes left, guys. I'm actually going on layer 1 today. Shout out to layer 1. They were on here on Monday. Q came on to talk to us and invited me to do sort of the same over there. So I'm going to jump on there. So for sure, if you guys want layer 1 on YouTube, you can come over and I think we're going to look at DOT and Uni and BTC and ETH over there. But either way, got 25 minutes left here and then I got to cut. So let's keep going. So yeah. And so here's why I'm so bullish on altcoins right now. Like, look at this. Like, what? Like upside potential? I mean, the USD pair just broke out in a huge way. Now the Bitcoin pair is breaking up off the lows. I do expect some, bullishness in Bitcoin, obviously, over the next year. So these may not just go ape shit's crazy. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to keep up with Bitcoin, but oh my God, when these Bitcoin pairs start moving off the bottom and the USD pairs, doing anything like the Bitcoin USD pairs doing anything but dumping, the USD pair for Zcash is going to go so bananas if this thing starts going bananas. It's so exciting. And if you guys haven't experienced like a big FU alt season, I can't guarantee it's going to happen. I never do any stupid shit like that, guaranteeing things. But oh, buddy, the perfect storm has arrived. So I'm going to have to put the probability at like high 80s, high 70s. It's a bet I like to take every time. What else? Unless I see a request over there, I'm going to say what else is in my bag. Doing my best to be in bags that are the hot picks. We looked at Solana. We looked at Serum. We looked at Atom. We looked at DOT. We looked at HBAR, KNC. Ren. I missed Ren last year. I missed this entire run up versus USD. I was sad. Sad. So when it came into this consolidation and all this stuff happened, I said to myself, I will not skip the next move on Ren because it is such a strong project. It is still presumably relative to the rest of some of these bigger projects undervalued at a few $100 million. I think if this thing has over $1 billion in value locked on the platform in the form of wrapped Bitcoin, then how the hell is it not worth, like the market cap just based on that? So we'll see. I mean, this probably, could be a local top here for a little bit, but I'm not calling tops on it. I'm going to hold my position that we picked up through here. If this does roll over and come back in here, that's not a time for me to change my thesis and say, oh, wait, I forgot. Ren's bearish. It's like, no, that's when you got to get greedy, right? Identify the big breakout, identify an uptrend, identify strong volume, undervalued projects, whatever, and then stick to that thesis so that when the dips come in, you don't suddenly go, oh, wait, it's a bear market, ? Right? And so that was the goal on Monday. Because I was saying, we got confirmed bullish market structure. I'm going to draw this fib. I don't know what will drive it into this level, but if it comes, I want to be bidding it. And on Monday, oftentimes people are scrambling around looking at the value dripping out of their portfolio instead of actually getting into the market, finding these logical pullback levels, putting aside their fear, and getting long. Oh yeah, share. Let's look at share. Okay, chart X. Okay, yeah, guys, quick update on share. For those of you who are not super nerdy and staring at everything about share most days, like myself, I'll give you guys the rundown. This is it's a little bit, good news, bad news. It's pretty annoying. First of all other things considered, this chart does look like it needs to cool off, and that's sad. I'll tell you why. It looked so good yesterday. A couple days ago. Now, I'm not calling bear on this. I have some share, not selling it, not trading it at this level. I will be holding it till over $1 whenever that day comes. Over $2 whenever that day comes. But I've managed my risk, right, guys? If it just never happened and then went belly up, I'd be okay. So you got to make sure you're in that boat, or it's a scary place. So we're kind of at this consolidation low. You can see what happened the last time it consolidated. Let's keep an eye on this as a little place setter, right? Whatever you want. I don't really use triangles officially. You guys notice, all these charts, no triangles. My trading plans don't really use them, but for analysis, they work. So for share, we had this sort of breakout, retest, and then just an explosion. And that coincided with a big positive rebase cycle on USD. And there was, people making money hand over fist. Every time there was like a new rebase, they're just printing money and selling it and printing money and selling it. And then pretty much like an Eiffel Tower dump. And then and look at this. You guys are going to love this. Always the reload zones. But if you wanted to get short, there was an opportunity. Okay, actually, before I change this, because ChartX Pro is weird, just tell you why I'm talking about $2. If we do break up from this consolidation, what the hell? Oh, that's never mind. Okay, so that's your 1618 extension. Now, bear with me here. It's not like TradingView where you get all this stuff, right? You gotta do it manually. Okay, so let's take a look at, my buddy said it, like this stuff's been so easy to trade, especially because it seems to be lagging the market. So if the market like dumps, then share will be fine. And then like later that day it'll dump. But, off this move down, if I wanted to sell, if I wanted to get out, me, I'm trying to wait for the rebound, the short reload zone. Short reload zone came in. For what it's worth, I was staked, so I wasn't actually selling this, but someone did. Clockwork, same old shit, right? And now just consolidating. Now here's the story about yesterday. The dab whale. Wallet ending in DAAB. We just kind of affectionately known as the dab whale, who was very exciting to hear during this. We saw this massive $5 million wallet start loading up on share and USD. We're like, oh my God, the whales have arrived. Well, this particular whale apparently is a moody bitch because right on the day of this breakout, after holding through all of this, started offloading basically like 1 million shares. So, in general, very impressed. The fact that it just held up into this range. Basically back to where it was yesterday. And now we have one less whale. That's actually good news. It's distributed wealth to other people. further distributing the network and the governance, voting power, all that stuff. But this individual just sold relentlessly yesterday. You can see the big volume here, 40K, 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 until they were all out, and they sold another 130 today. Last I checked, the guy has about 20,000 share left. So it really sucks. Took the wind out of the sails on what was an otherwise highly anticipated breakout. Again, I don't think the dude is that sharp, because this was primed for a very strong expansion move. I mean, it just was. Dude selling a bunch of USD, crushing the rebase. So it seemed like a weirdly sadistic thing to do, even to himself, because everything lined up. New positive rebase, bullish market, like everything looked like he could have probably sold this for 4x like within 3 days. So moving on, no big deal. Just like Bitcoin, certain things can happen. Sellers can come in, whatever. Protocol will survive. Fundamentally, nothing's really changed. Still talking to Robert regularly. Guy's sharp as a whip. Lots of stuff in the pipeline. So it's my long take on share. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Technically speaking, you don't want to see this breakdown where it's like, oh no. But like, I don't know, who's selling down at 20 cents? Who's moving down there? Possible, totally possible. If there's opportunity cost in the market and people decide this thing's dead or it's not moving or it's boring, they may sell just to go buy something else. But personally, this is an area where I would either be thinking hold or buy. I would not sell this myself. I have some share. I'm not even thinking about selling it. It's either like boom or bust at this point for me. I'm not taking it until we get a breakout upwards of this. And if we do break down, well, let's play that scenario. So if it happens, we have a plan. What does that look like on the highest time frames, right? We're in the reload zone, right? In that zone where people always want to sell, but probably, traders should be thinking longing in the reload zones, shorting in the short reload zones. But up here, do you think anyone was thinking short? I mean, somebody did, obviously, but generally speaking, we were all thinking about how much more we wish we bought and then thinking, fuck it, I'll just buy a little more. The markets will fuck with you. So now we're in the reload zone. I would be, if, again, I don't think this might happen, but who cares what I think? But if, it's really more about scenarios. If that kind of thing happens, you're going to want to see bullish divergence. You're going to want to see lower low there, pull up a MACD. You want to get a higher low. That's your signal that there's underlying strength here. Patience game is on. Picking up in this reload zone, personally, something I think will probably age well. Can't guarantee it though. Or this is the bottom, and we just kind of bumble along, and then we get our breakout all the same. Because the dab whale is out. He's out. He's got no more share left. So on the whole, I don't think there was a big mass exodus. It was literally one individual. Who knows why he did it? CFI. Fuck yeah. Let's go. You guys can see my little short list over here. I don't hold all these tokens, but I've been charting them, watching them, keeping an eye. CFI did break out really nicely today. I noticed that. I hold some. So, when I see it go up, I notice it in my portfolio. Coming off a really interesting level here. Obviously on Monday, it ate some shit like everything else. Got a nice gap down, 195. It's basically like near the lows. Wow, Sigmar, nice call, because this thing is looking decent. Let's find out, okay, pretty nice alignment on the candle body highs here. Candle body high, candle body high, candle body high, and breakout. So yeah, no, CFI looks really good. And this thing is a ridiculously low market cap, like sub 5 million. Cyberfi, 3.2 million. So I like the value, for the level here on Cyberfi. And as much as I tend to resist rushing in to buy something that just went up, 33% in the last couple of days, like generally speaking, it's like, well, just wait for a dip. But in this case, follow your plan. If your plan is to buy dips, that's all you should ever do. But in this case, I really do see a lot of upside for Cyberfi. I just do. Call me crazy. They're building real things with real use cases, namely products for liquidity providers. So look at that. Nice, clean sort of resistance here. Again, I typically wouldn't use a line. I would use a box. So maybe I should get a box. A BX. Let's get these backs. Yeah, breakout retest and let's go. See how the volume is. Nice volume coming in. So for a Uniswap token that had pretty much dead buy volume for a bit, which is normal for end of a consolidation, this is a significant wake up. So all eyes on CFI. Huge news coming out today for CFI. People front running it, has really been touching support lines. Look for a pullback rate. Oh, okay. So we have some news coming out on CFI today. That would make sense then, that some insiders are like, yeah, we know this announcement's coming. Tell your body, tell your friends, tell your family, and they'll pick some up. When that news drops, you may get a pump, and you bet that those news buyers are going to get a nice profit. All right, good info from the producer. Thank you for that. I should probably have known that. Any idea about WNXM? No idea about that. But let's look at it. Oh, interesting. It's in the zone. I don't even have to draw this. I'll tell you, it's near that reload zone. I think it just broke out of it. Sort of, yeah. Oh, okay. Interesting. So in this case, as you were talking about, how do you draw your support resistance? Well, I see some support here. I see some resistance here, resistance, support, and then I just create like a little band to capture the best fit of that. And in that case, holy shit, who brought this up? Who was it? Linus. Why am I not surprised? Sniping, the breakouts, the reload zones. I don't know what coin this is. I don't know what it does, but that's a nice looking chart. Right? Big buys, big breakout, then the sell-off, initial hype wears off, consolidate, build a base, breakout, retest. And is there higher volume? Yep. Oh, shit. God damn it. Price alert just blew my ear off. What the hell, man? Sorry, guys. That actually fucked my ear so hard. Oh, Trendmaster short possible. Get the fuck out of here. That scared the shit out of me, guys. Oh my God. Sorry about that. Yeah. I mean, look, guys, I'm so bullish on basically every coin we've talked about today, but do not be surprised if this Mt. Gox news turns into a dark cloud for a little bit. If they start giving dates and targets for how much is going to be sold or shifted and when, just don't be like caught with your pants down on leverage or anything. Because those kinds of stories can really bleed a market out and just boredom. And doesn't mean Bitcoin's anything. No, it's going to be fine. But it's like, how much juice can you squeeze out of this piece of fruit, right? So anyways, that was just an alert that happened on the 4-hour candle close, which must mark the top of the hour. So we are getting near the end here. Let's see what we can do well before we wrap up. Yeah. I mean, this is my chart for ETH. To update it now. Got new information. Did have bullish market structure confirming right here. But it makes sense. Nice buyback here on the hourly. It makes sense for this to be the same kind of fib pong as we would look for. ETH still outperforming Bitcoin here a little bit. So yeah, let's see how that goes. I wouldn't be shocked to see some fib pong through here, what's the next play look like? Yeah. Right. So this was a short reload zone, back down to the reload zone. Probably could draw a little fib there, get a little short reload zone, little reload zone. And if that, this to me is a really bullish scenario, because that's where your altcoins just go fucking bananas. As soon as it's established that this is going to range and Bitcoin's going to range, and we're already seeing that, then things like all these altcoins just start to pop off. So, I mean, volume coming in, bullish market structure coming in. Oh, so exciting. Okay, Jeff Dorman from ARCA is bullish on WNXM. Okay, that's good to know. We want to know what those kinds of people are doing when they know their shit and they're well connected and they say something's looking good. That's usually two things. It's usually a hint that they already own some, but it's also a hint that, they're going to keep saying that that's going to do well. And sometimes that can be enough to just breathe life into an asset. depending on who you are. So I then tend to like to get long with the smart money, which will put him in that basket. I think that guy wrote a big thing on EOS yesterday too, which for what it's worth made a lot of sense to me. Basically just saying that Block One has $1 billion worth of Bitcoin and their market cap is only whatever it is. Find out. Oh, 2.5 billion. And then I guess that they have some huge amount of Bitcoin in their treasury, which is worth a significantly large number more than this. Therefore, their book value is very high. Actual value technically here is very low. So his thesis was basically that some way, somehow, price will eventually find equilibrium with that, aka go up. Let's see. Personally, not a fan of EOS. Don't know why. I just don't like it. Big multi-bill market cap. I mean, the guys, what did they raise? Like $1 billion at their ICO? Fuck that. You don't need that. Yop just launched successfully and is going to build a full app with a functioning project, and they raised like $600K. So don't tell me you need $1 billion to start your friggin' project. I'm not going to buy that shit. Sorry. Rant. Mini rant. Total shitcoin, Binance, TCT. Somebody told me about this the other day. Let's go see. Let's go see. I mean, yeah, these are the kind of ones that just do this, right? Not a bad idea. Like if it's your strategy and you want to be patient and you're ready to suffer a little opportunity cost, because if it does or doesn't pump, you have no idea why, because I don't even know what it does. I'm sure somebody somewhere is a community member and they could fill us in. But yeah, I mean, these are the ones, right? And then you look at Binance and it's like, oh, what's that thing that's up 300% today? And it's like one of these little shitters that just went, wow. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know about this. Like, I don't know what to say other than that it's probably just going to catch a pop. Just a matter of when and from what price and where will it go between now and that pop? You know, will it test you? Will it test your resolve for a few weeks while everything's pumping and it just sucks? And then it's like you sell it and then it's like, and most likely just, who knows? But I would not be shocked if that happened. This part and this part. So coins like this, you really want to keep your orders working too. You know, have those sells. Actually, you can see here, I picked up a shit bag the other day. I have since sold it through this. I just was like, fuck it, what am I doing? I don't even know this coin. I'm going to focus on the big names, the ones I know that have big structure. But like for a lotto ticket, it was probably you, Dave, or somebody in the 8-pit said like, oh, check out TCT. I was like, yeah, fuck it. Punted in like, you know, tiny little bit and then set my sells on doubles. And I was like, fuck it, I'll just forget and set and forget. And then I just decided that that's not how I really want to position myself. So these are the doubles. No, this is the double. And then these are just big sells. But yeah, something to think about. Let's see. Lastly, let's wrap the day here. You know, we are getting some pullbacks here. That is to be expected with things like this. Wouldn't be shocked if we have a bit of a shakeout. And let's just hope. You know, you don't want to see this. Let's just end with what you don't want to see. So you can kind of keep an eye on when things shift fairly significantly. 1, 2, 3. You don't really want to see the daily close below that. But if it doesn't mean, you know, I'm not shorting from there. But if we structured back up into like a short reload zone of that move, I would have to start taking some risk off the table just because of my trading plan. And, you know, and then, so like if we close below this, that is confirming bearish market structure. Does not mean it has to go down. I've seen from previous bull markets that you get some of that structure, then it goes like this, and then it's like, ooh, and then it's just like, whoa. So, you know, be aware. We are in a bull until we're not. So be very cautious making big decisions about getting out of the market on smaller-ish significant dumps. You know, follow your plan. If you don't have a plan, hit me up in the chat sometime and we can talk about how to formulate one. Because I want to help you guys out. But I think that's it for today. I think, you know, we got the Dixie making a push. Don't sleep on the significance of that. That will cause what we're seeing, which is selling. As people move back to the dollar. And if this wants to put in a base here and just consolidate like it did back here, that consolidation was from January until April. It was a 4-month consolidation here. So that's probably our best bet. What you don't want to see is this kind of thing. Like anything like that is a fucking bear market. Mark my words. Sucks. So we just really don't want to see that. I think they just announced like a couple trillion in spending, didn't they? Printing. So it's weird that the day after that it rallies. So it's a strange thing. But at worst, I think testing the underside of this trend channel. And honestly, that could be like that plus Mount Gox could be like 25K, 23K, 27K Bitcoin. That'd be interesting. Just pure speculation there, but this rallying up for a month. I mean, this is a monthly candle, so 1-2 months into the Mount Gox event, whenever that's going to be. So next key information we got to look out for is how much Bitcoin, what are the details, how is it going to be handled, what's the involvement of OTC desks, will it be done on markets? There's so many questions there. But there's rumblings of a narrative that could be a sell narrative. So just be aware of that, guys, as we head into the weekend. Generally speaking, I'm very bullish on all my altcoins. Don't think I'm going to be selling too many of them, but we'll see. There's a big stupid blow off toppy looking thing here for the daily. And then everything gets really bearish. You may find on Monday that I'm talking about how I cut some here and now I'm looking to buy it into wherever. Like, don't be shocked if I pull the trigger on a few exits on these. They are in profit. And if this news does shake out a little differently, I may pay myself and I may secure it so that I'm equipped for the dips. So don't be shocked. I have no plans to do that right now, but I haven't had a good chance to look at it. So. Okay, last one, because I've been wanting to pick this up and you just told me it's in the pump chaser zone. Let's go see MPH 88. Yeah. Yep. Is this it? $44. I mean, it's in the reload zone. Don't mind that. I keep hearing about this thing. Should I be picking some up? It means it's certainly in a zone. And if I'm hearing all this shit about it now, imagine what I'm going to hear when it's actually mooning. So yeah, interesting. Scaling in. Okay. Producer is officially confirmed he's scaling in. Privacy coin picks are tricky, Linus. I mean, there's only a handful. You got your Dash, your Zcash, Monero. You've got Zen. You've got a whole bunch. I mean, there was a whole wave of them back then. I don't know which ones are still around. But those are your big ones. So building a privacy basket as a play is it's something a lot of people do. I can't really speak to that. I'm not that bullish on privacy coins. It's not that I'm bearish on them. I'm more bullish on things like what we talked about with the ETH throughput layers, like faster blockchains that can integrate with ETH and help bypass the very big problem that exists on ETH right now, which is slowness and expensiveness. So I'm bullish on that narrative this year. I'm bullish on interoperability this year. I'm bullish on algo stablecoins this year, more specifically just dollar protocol. I think a lot of those other ones are just going to phase out and clone their way into death. That's it. Holy shit, Maha's up again today. Next distribution for Maha is coming out, I think, Sunday. So keep an eye on that. If it pops into that, that's fucking awesome. Okay, guys, I got to run. I got to get on this other stream, and I was hoping to give myself 2 minutes in between. So let's flip back the charts because I could talk all day. And I will. We're already in the studio. Good to see you guys. Okay. Hey, happy Friday. Thanks for listening through on the opsec stuff early on. Seriously, if you haven't done all those things, go back because the time you wish you had will be usually when it's too late. I can, as somebody who's been SIM swapped, thank God got out with my shirt, but it's scary and you start to think, oh man, this was vulnerable. This was vulnerable. I was being lazy. Don't sleep on opsec, guys. Go after it. Use this unfortunate thing that happened this morning to my little cousin as an example and set yourself straight over the weekend. Treat yourself to the peace of mind of good opsec. And let's just hope. Let's hope that all this Gox stuff doesn't hit too hard. I mean, long term, it's not going to do anything. It's going to be a blip on the radar. But it's a narrative, and it's a narrative that could catch fire here. So I have to assume that it's possible. And I'm going to dive into it this weekend, and we'll see what adjustments I make. Put them out on my Twitter at randomtask555. at Real Hero Labs. And if you guys like what I did today, please share and like and comment and tell your friends about us. And let's try to grow this channel together so we can get stronger and better and faster. All right, guys, have a wonderful weekend. Whatever you do, always play from a position of strength. Take care.